What's up, family? I believe we are live now. I think this is officially off and running. Hi, everybody. See, we've got a few people already in here. I feel like I need to jump right in because I got a lot to say, and I want to hear from you guys as well. What's up? What's up, my mods, Kit and Tyara? Or is it Tiara? I've been saying Tyara, and I keep meaning to ask you. Am I saying your name correctly? Because I don't know. Hey, Sade. Hey, everybody. April, CC, Farah, Flower Tress. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. All right. We got a lot to talk about. I got notes on notes on notes. But I just hope I hope everyone had a better weekend than James Charles did. This shit is a hot ass mess. I think most of you probably know what this is about. Even prior to going live, I had a link in the description box. It links to people.com if you're afraid of clicking it, because I know some of you guys are like, I don't want to give that hoe a view, whoever the hoe in question may be. Like when I was talking about Abby. I dead ass want to say Blandtown. I can't remember what her last name is, but I know it starts with a B. That live that I had to take down, couldn't remember her name. A lot of you guys didn't want to click over to watch her apology video because you didn't want to give her a view. So taking that into consideration, the link in the description box links to people.com, or actually I think it's somewhere else. I picked some other site just because I want to be difficult. But some other blog that summarizes everything that has transpired since this Friday between TATI Westbrook and James Charles, both of whom I do not follow. Not my cup of tea, neither of them. And I always stay out of YouTube drama, as you guys have probably noticed. And that's because it usually has nothing to do with me, and this in a way has nothing to do with me, especially since I don't watch any of these people. But this situation actually does kind of affect me in the sense that it affects and reflects YouTube as a community as a whole and social media as a whole. And there's a lot of things that I think thoughts I've had and things that I want to say about the situation that I have not heard being expressed elsewhere. So I'm giving my unsolicited opinions on this, and I'm hoping that you guys will be here to hear what I have to say, and I want to hear your thoughts as well. Now, this thing with TATI Westbrook and James Charles, they're two of the largest creators on YouTube. So as much as I resent it, the things they do affect me, just the way fucking Logan Paul affects me. PewDiePie affects me, even though I've never seen a single video from any of them. But I'm pretty well caught up on what has gone down in the past couple of days with TATI and James Charles. I don't know that much about James Charles prior to this. Simply put, I could not stand him from the first time I heard him open his mouth. It's just one of those things where as soon as you see someone, you're like, this person is not for me. I've never seen one of his videos except for his apology video. That's the first video of his that I've ever seen, because his voice makes me want to barf. He sounds like he's congested, or like he has mayonnaise in his throat or something, and I can't take it. But I'm fairly familiar with TATI. Again, not subscribed. I have seen some of her videos here and there over the years, probably more way back when she was already pretty successful, but still definitely under a milli, because thinking back to when I would occasionally watch one of her videos, hardly anyone had 1 million subscribers back then. And over the years, I've seen just through suggested videos in my feed that she then went on to associate with Jeffree Star, which I'm going to get to that, but that also helped me to stay away. And now that brings us to today, where we have the conscious uncoupling of TATI and James Charles, which went down this weekend. I actually only heard about her video going up through Kevin James Bennett, who is a makeup artist and consultant for brands. He helps develop products and stuff. I follow him on Instagram, and he clearly has his own axe to grind against James Charles. I mean, all tea, all shade. He just has a personal vendetta here, in my opinion, because he posts a lot about James Charles, even things where it's just like, no one was talking about James Charles right now. But anyway, that's another thing. That is how I found out about TATI's video on Friday. I went over to watch it, and Since then, shit has really hit the fan. I mean, the drama channels have had a field day. You know, breaking news, so and so unfollowed James Charles on Instagram. I mean, it's just YouTube and social media in general, it's like high school all over again, you know? Like, this shit is fucking pathetic. Like, how is it a headline that somebody unfollowed somebody else on Instagram? Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck? But I can't, at the same time, I can't knock the hustle of these drama channels, because a lot of people are getting paid off of James Charles's misery today, honey. People are gonna have some fat ass checks this month thanks to all of their James Charles videos going up. I know some of these drama channels have been doing 2 and 3 videos a day since Friday, every time there's a new development. Even when there's like fuck all to add to the conversation, they'll find some random ass reason to upload yet another video, and the views are rolling in. So again, I can't knock that hustle. Mariella, you and I both, I hated high school. I was delighted to move on. And I think that's partially why I am very unsuccessful in this social media-ing, at least on a personal level. Like, when it comes to me, like, I can't do it. I ain't got time for that. I'm too grown. But anyway, just trying to keep things moving, because I do have a lot of points I want to touch on, and I want to hear from you guys. Much like James Charles, like, these drama channels exist because we allow them to thrive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't watch them often, but the fact that I've watched them ever makes me part of the problem. You know, even if I watch it just over the course of this weekend to see what's going on, like, this is feeding into this machine, this fucking reality show that has little to do with what I like to think YouTube is about for me as a creator, in terms of sharing and learning and stuff like that. It's just becoming drama, you know, just fucking bullshit. And I don't know how many of you guys saw Tati's video, but she was throwing some real Hamptons fucking Martha's Vineyard ass type of shade. There was that one point where she said that she had receipts stacked thick. I was like, okay, Tati. I mean, it's kind of crazy to me how far-reaching cultural appropriation of Black queer culture has become, but that's another conversation for another day. And then she even had that throwaway comment about how James Charles, like, partnering with her competitor, Sugar Bear Hair, which is, you know, the match that lit the flame of all of this. She had some throwaway comment. She was like, well, it's not going to hurt my business. Just like, it was like the most subtle flex, but definitely a flex. It was just kind of interesting to see. The video was only 40 minutes long, so I only sat through it the once. But toward the end, I do remember her saying that she was afraid to do the video because she was afraid of James Charles. And I do think that there's some truth to that, because, you know, he does have a lot of followers and all that. But I also feel like Tati knew exactly what she was doing, okay? I think that she and her team, or whatever, she and her husband, whoever, they did a risk assessment. And they realized that the James Charles stans, you know, coming after her would be minor collateral damage compared to what she stood to gain by putting this video out there. And the fact is, this aftermath is just illuminating how many bridges James Charles has already burned in his relatively short career. You know what I'm saying? Because there's been a lot of people foaming at the mouth, waiting to knock this kid down a peg. And to me, the most sobering thing is just how strong this herd mentality, this Hyde behavior has been in the aftermath. It's actually kind of terrifying to see that literally millions of people are willing to jump on a bandwagon like that. I don't want this to seem like I'm some kind of James Charles fan. I tried to make it quite clear at the top of this that I am not. I'm just talking here. I'm just talking about how I see things and how I'm observing it. At this point, James Charles is down almost 2.5 million subscribers, 2.5 million, whereas Tati is up more than 3 million subscribers, closer to 4. How does this make sense? Because I don't really understand the equivalency. Like, why would someone taking issue with the information disclosed in Tati's video, if that causes you to unfollow or unsubscribe or all the above from James Charles, how does that equate to her gaining almost the same amount or more people at this point in followers. And the only reason I can surmise is it's because the internet perpetuates this fucking binary thinking and binary behavior. And it's like the death of nuanced opinion entirely. It's like binary thinking is very American, if not human. I haven't ever lived in another country. It's actually like a gold mine to live in a couple other countries to see, like, is this an American problem? I mean, not only for this reason, but the very idea that everyone is defining themselves, not so much by what they are or what someone else is, but by what they are not. And it's more pervasive than ever. So thinking for yourself, being a critical thinker, having a nuanced opinion, having an opinion that has both pros and cons or even differs from the herd slightly is typically seen as dragging. So if I say something both positive and negative about Tati or James Charles, then I'm a hater or I'm a stan. There's nothing else. There's no in between. And it doesn't matter what you actually said. And I think that's what's happening with these people hurting themselves from following James to following Tati. It's like, now everyone is hashtag Team Tati or whatever, and they're delighting in James Charles's downfall, even though these are a lot of the same motherfuckers who were kissing his fully exposed ass under his Coachella photos days ago. It's just this idea that, like, I'm not a James Charles fan now, I'm Team Tati, that kind of thing. It's like, maybe I'm team none of y'all. That's where I'm at. Yeah, I agree with you, Kit. And I'm actually going to touch on that. I think homophobia has a lot to do with why Tati is gaining a lot of subscribers and why people are, to a point, reacting so severely to these allegations against James Charles and his alleged predatory behavior, because I don't really know how much information that is actually factual and not just hearsay we even have on that. But homophobes will, I mean, give them an inch, they'll take a mile, you know, give them any reason to become even more homophobic and they will run with it. So I'm not, again, I am not caping for James Charles by any means, let that be clear. But it's kind of ironic to me that this generation that's always talking about being anti-bullying and how they're constantly like triggered by something or another is so quick to literally celebrate a person's downfall, thinking it's okay simply because he's a public figure. Like, he's also a human being. He's also a person, you know, and I don't personally think that this situation is going to be the end of James Charles. I really don't. He's been knocked down a peg, and I think there's a very real possibility that in this moment he might be a danger to himself in the midst of all this playing out, because this social media shit is no joke. It is no joke. I've made it no secret that, like, despite not being a fan of his, I don't think like hashtag James Charles is over party, like, that's just tacky to me. And at this rate, he's going to be shaving his head in a parking lot and attacking a paparazzo's car with an umbrella. Like, do you really want that? You know what I'm saying? He's 19 years old, which, you know, 19 isn't what it used to be. I realize that's technically an adult, but the infantilization of these millennials and Gen Zers is a very real thing. So 19 isn't what it used to be. And being 19 and having the meteoric rise to fame and money that he has had, that has got to fuck with your head. Like, I don't know if he was in therapy before, but he certainly should be now. I don't think that he has the perspective or emotional maturity to deal with what is happening at this moment, more than likely, especially when you think about the allegations about his behavior throughout his rise to fame, with these sort of very retaliatory, threatening people, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's very juvenile, childish, not short-sighted, not thinking long-term, not thinking like an adult type of behavior. You know, using his influence to intimidate and threaten people. Being 19 and then also being an asshole is a lethal combination. And with time, perhaps he might have grown out of his dickity a bit. Who knows? Only time would or will tell. But again, if you're already an asshole just by nature, pairing that with being 19 is fucking lethal. So I don't find his behavior up to this point surprising in the least. Like, not at all. He's had plenty of scandals, and he remains immature because there have been no consequences. You know, up until a few days ago, I don't know if he still is or not, probably not. But even after losing, 3 million subscribers or whatever it is at this point, he has way more success and influence than people who fucking mind their business and just make original, well-produced makeup tutorials or whatever if you're on the platform. And we're just going to have to see what, if anything, comes of these allegations about his predatory behavior, because unwanted sexual advances from anyone, regardless of the sexual orientation of either party involved, is disturbing. It shouldn't happen. I think probably anyone in this chat right now has experienced it, and it's not cool. It's distressing. It shouldn't happen. And that's period, point blank. But undoubtedly, because of James Charles being James Charles, there are going to be opportunists as well who are only going to detract from the legitimacy of the real victims and people being able to believe them, not just in this situation, but in any other situation that happens going forward. Because the fact is, we don't have all the facts yet. And I believe there's already been at least one instance of people making claims of sexual assault that were proven to be photoshopped. So it's already just harming real victims because people are becoming opportunists in this situation. And I think, like I was saying a moment ago regarding Kit's comment, the outrage here is heightened because of homophobia, I think. Veronica Bourgeois, who's another YouTuber, she did a live yesterday. And if I remember to, I will link it underneath this video after the live is over so you can check it out. But if all of these things are true about James Charles, it's really bad because it's just giving ammunition to homophobes out there who legitimately think that all gay guys just want to turn straight guys gay. Like it's some sort of like magical spell that they cast or some ridiculous, you know what I mean? Like, if any of this is true, or, we'll have to see if some of these things are being exaggerated, that really is harmful. Anyway, the real tea here, though, is that Jeffree Star keeps winning. It just proves that there is no end to racism, because racism is as American as apple pie. Clearly, people either don't care or they're far more willing to forgive racism and actual violence than they are willing to forgive making a white woman cry, okay? Because I've been on the receiving end of weaponized white woman tears before. Some of you guys will know this. From when I reviewed that particular food plan from that particular brand. But evidently, Tati Westbrook's tears are fucking WMD. As far as the predatory behavior, remember, these are accusations and we don't know, like, this is still unfolding with James Charles. So all this information is still playing out. Jeffree Star, however, is on video. Okay, he's on video punching a woman, calling women nigger bitches, and doing some whack ass unfunny sketch about like bleaching a woman's skin to make her more beautiful. And all this was brought to light years ago. Okay. What has happened to Jeffree Star since? He had a brief dip in subscribers, and then nothing happened. I mean, nothing compared to what has happened to James Charles. In fact, Jeffree Star only went on to become more successful than ever, one of the most visible creators on the platform. And unfortunately, as someone who is somewhat of a beauty YouTuber, I do a few different things, but I do a lot of beauty content. Jeffree Star, in a sense, represents my community, and I resent that. And these are the things that we've seen on video from Jeffree Star, like these are the things that we've seen him doing on video. So I can only imagine what wasn't caught on video that he has said or done. With getting these videos completely removed from the internet, and whenever someone re-uploads them, they are taken down immediately. He gets lawyers involved. Like, he is on top of it. But that doesn't change that all this shit still happened. And Tati Westbrook is still friends with him. Matter of fact, Jeffrey was a few years older than James Charles was when he was punching women and calling them nigger bitches. So, what does that have to do with integrity, Tati? Because if any of her claims about wanting to do the right thing and being for, being an upstanding, truthful youth, if that were for real, she would have never begun to, let alone continued to associate with known racists. And she wouldn't have acquiesced to this allegedly predatory behavior of James Charles for years, speaking up only now when it suited and benefited her. I mean, she had myriad opportunities in the past couple of years to disassociate from James Charles if his behavior bothered her that much. She could have been did that. But okay, go off, sis. Now is the time. Because if you ask me, this only happened because she was offended personally by James Charles. The fact that this is being painted as her being a beacon of virtue and doing what's right is, to me, nonsense. It happened when it did because she was salty that he took a deal from her competitor and he wasn't sorry about it. He was wrong for that, no doubt. But that also doesn't make her some kind of hero. Considering everything that she did for his career, I would be pissed off too. Tati is indisputably one of the most hardworking, consistent YouTubers in the game, and she has been for years. So all of her success is earned. And I only wish that I had a Tati in my life to do for me what she did for James Charles, like for real, for real. But let's keep it all the way 100. James Charles, if he had taken a sponsorship with her company instead of her competitor, we wouldn't even be sitting here right now. If she's all about integrity and doing what's right, why the fuck is she still buddy-buddy with racist Star? Make that make sense. Where is the integrity when it comes to his racism and him using the same tactics James Charles has done and sicking his following on smaller YouTubers and influencers when he's upset at them? He's done the same exact things. And because I guess you were never personally called a nigger bitch by him or punched in the face, you can't summon that same energy that you had for James Charles, I guess. Just saying. One of the most disturbing things is seeing how many people are celebrating Jeffree Star being like back on top and just being happy that since James is hemorrhaging numbers, perhaps Jeffree Star has the higher subscriber count now. I'm not sure. I haven't checked. And to me, it just proves yet again that this platform and Instagram, for that matter, are complete garbage. The representatives of YouTube and the beauty community are fucking James Charles and Jeffree Star. I fucking quit. Man. All right, so that's my rant. I know you guys have been talking a lot, but I just wanted to get through everything because I just had, as you heard, a lot to say. So now it can be more of a discussion amongst us all. Oh, Queen Sheba, you got blocked. Let me show that. There we go. So let's see. All right, I'm kind of, it's going pretty fast, but Esperanz02, yeah. Tati forgave Jeffree Star, racist Star, because his racism doesn't affect her. She's mad at James Charles because what he did does affect her. It hurt her feelings. She said herself it doesn't hurt her business. So this is a personal thing as much as it is being painted as something that is like, oh, she's doing it because she's the realest YouTuber. No, baby. No. Kid, has James Charles also? I mean, again, I don't follow him, so I'm not even aware of him being racist. Good heavens. Jeffrey is number one now? Shit. Thanks for the update, Marielle, although that is not good news. I can forgive racism, not vitamins. Yeah, Danny J, it is crazy. I honestly feel like the price he has paid, and I don't know how many times I have to say this, not a fan of James Charles, but I don't feel like the price he has paid in just the past couple of days is commensurate with what he did. especially since the sexual predatory behavior is still alleged. I haven't really seen anything. I mean, listen, I have a lot of gay friends, and this is not the first time I've heard of there being a bit of a fetish or proclivity for straight guys amongst gay guys. That isn't to say it's right, and that isn't to say that uh, pressing the issue when the recipient of the attention has already said no is correct. Of course, it is not. But this isn't the first gay guy who has had a thing for straight guys. And until we know the extent of what he did, this is all just hinting and insinuation. Like, I haven't really seen anything that actually is really like nail in the coffin, damning evidence. I think that what's not being acknowledged is how manipulative and strategic the choice of information revealed was, because clearly, at least in this country, people don't give a fuck about being racist, at least not against Black people. If it's the other way, then it's a huge problem. If you're anti-white, you're done, which is often equated with being pro-Black, but that's also another conversation for another day. But way worse than being racist, clearly, like not even just by this video by TATI, but just by looking at Jeffree Star's career and what has happened to James Charles in the past couple of days. Like, people will tolerate racism all day. What they won't tolerate is being sexually aggressive toward another man who doesn't want it and making a white woman cry. Black people should start their own video streaming platform. Classic nostalgia, I agree. I don't think James Charles is done. He will weather this storm. Whether he learns to stop being an asshole will remain to be seen. Either way, I'm still not subscribing ever. Yeah, Kit. Petty Page put up a video with that waiter, like, I guess you hear that term clout chasing all the time. I mean, this is the most blatant I have ever seen, because if anything, that video made James Charles look better. I mean, it made him look a bit like petty and salty, because, you know, being rejected never feels good. I'm sure if you're constantly pursuing guys who are merely bi or bi-curious, that's going to happen to you a lot. But yeah, the guy said himself that he was bi-curious at the time. And then he surreptitiously recorded James on a FaceTime with him, where he was just like, oh, so like, I saw that you were talking to another guy at the same time you were talking to me. Apparently, James Charles recently had yet another scandal that I know little to nothing about, with some other guy who was straight, and James was like pursuing him pretty aggressively. Again, I'm not going to speak too much on that because I don't know. But with this waiter dude, he was like, yeah, I saw that you were talking to him at the same time you were talking to me. And James was just like, yeah, I don't know why you care. And I have to say, I agree with James. Like, why does he care? He already said that he hadn't been interested in pursuing anything with James at that point. Why do you care? And why are you recording this? Because you want receipts to try to gain some fucking fame of your own later on, is clearly the reason. Why else would you even have recorded it in that extra shady way, where I think, again, this is through Petty Page's video that she uploaded last night / this morning. I can't quite recall, where the waiter dude is FaceTiming, and then his friend has like a phone or a camera phone off to the side, positioned in a way so that James wouldn't be able to see that this was being recorded. The whole thing just speaks of opportunism. Yeah, exactly. His audience is all 14, 13-year-olds, which, you know, was a big point of contention in Tati's whole argument about him not wanting to promote her vitamins because it doesn't make sense for his audience. You know, they're too young to be taking that shit, more than likely. But then he went and promoted other vitamins that are probably more questionable for his audience because they're for sleep. Like, what are you doing? So that was just a bad business decision. Yeah, Brie, he was the first cover boy. That was how I first heard about him. And then I completely forgot about him until probably the past year or so, when he had this logarithmic growth in following, to the point where he was at the Met Gala last week, which that honestly makes my blood hot. Like, that doesn't raise his star, that lowers the Met Gala's star, if that makes any sense. It's like when Kanye first married Kim Kardashian. I was like, she thinks that this is going to raise her star, but really it's just lowering his. And it's the same thing with James Charles going to the Met Gala. It's just like, Met, you look like a whole ass clown. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, SP, responding to Blair Waldorf. I bet they were jealous that he got to go to that Met Gala, and that might be indeed the nail in the coffin on why she actually put that video out and why they're celebrating. And Art Ho, yeah, none of them are 100% innocent. That's why I remain unsubscribed to all parties involved. I'm not going to be like, oh, James is problematic, the word everyone loves to use. I'm going to go subscribe to Tati. How the fuck does that make sense? Classic nostalgia. Yeah, yeah. I was guilty of watching some of these drama channels this weekend. I do pick and choose. I don't watch them all. But yeah, like these tweets, like just again, clout chasing. He DM'd my boyfriend once knowing that he's, straight or whatever. Like, okay. Okay, girl. Oh, wow, kid. I didn't know that. What's with these cover boys and all these scandals? Angelica, I didn't know that either. I didn't realize that she was that instrumental in his rise. And I honestly wonder if that's always sat wrong with her. Like if she's salty that she helped him and then he just managed to eclipse her so many times over, 3 times over, because I think she was around 5, 6 million subscribers up until a few days ago, and he had 16 or something. So the fact that he got that because of her and he got more than she has because of her probably didn't sit well. And as much as she was like when she was talking about how he would call her mom, that honestly made my skin crawl. Like that shit ain't cute. But the fact that she had this somewhat parental place in his life, that sort of a parental relationship is one thing, but they are still in the same industry. And I don't think that you can completely be without jealousy in that type of situation. Tati is kind of boring, low key. Look, I haven't watched one of her videos until this expose in years. I mean, how many times can we watch you put on makeup and then go to the mall with your boyfriend, now husband? Like I get it. So I tapped out years ago, and I don't know if her content has changed at all, but it was working for her back then, so I can't imagine why it would. I mean, her turnover rate or I should say conversion rate is off the charts. I was talking about that recently, where so many of us, including me, struggle to even get what used to be normal, which is 10% of our subscriber base, to watch our videos. She's well over that. Like she is fucking 99th percentile in terms of conversion rate for how many people are subscribed to her and what percentage of that number actually watch every one of her videos. Wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be excited to be like, what's new at the drugstore for the 800? Like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, Amanda, I completely agree. YouTube is getting younger and younger, and Instagram too, and that is why he got bigger faster. But I don't think that, even though there's an explanation and reason, I don't think that eradicates any potential jealousy that might have been kind of festering. Oh my God, Cece, thank you. Look at me getting a super chat. Ooh. Toy, I don't know if I agree with that comment about Anna Wintour because she personally approves everyone who gets invited to the Met Gala. Because wasn't there some scandal years ago where I think pre Kanye Kim Kardashian wanted to go and Anna Wintour said no? And wasn't it? And now obviously all of them, all the Kardashians are there every year. But at the time, she didn't make the cut. So I do know that Susan Wojcicki, whatever, the YouTube CEO, did have however many invitations that she was allowed to extend. And she made the fatal error of extending one of those invitations to James Charles. And now she looks like a whole ass clown. Yes, Cece, I agree. Like, Tati, I applaud her work ethic and consistency because she used to do like 5 videos a week, which is and for years. So I got to hand that to her. Her success is earned. But I personally was just like, I am bored. I can't I can't do this. No, Zoe, I did not see Trisha Paytas break up. I don't watch Trisha Paytas. If she's in the headlines, I might hear about something she does, but like I live my life in such a way that I generally don't know what Trisha Paytas is up to, and I like it that way. Oh, okay, yeah, super chat is when you can just like basically tip the bartender. Is that how he finally it happened, Isabel? I believe that. Kanye. It's always Kanye, man. And now he just looks like a Stepford husband. I mean, I know he's got mental health issues and he has pre-Kim. Like this is old. Kanye has always had problems. It's actually made it hard for me to even ingest his work, like his music and stuff. Like, I haven't really been able to just like enjoy a Kanye album for a long time because I'm constantly just thinking about his issues. Yoki Tate, see, this is the thing. Like, I agree that when you help someone get to the top and they burn you, it can piss you off. I completely agree with that. But I don't think that it's one or the other. I don't think that these are mutually exclusive things. I do think that there is a possibility that jealousy could have been a factor in enhancing her anger and her deciding to go through with this video. I mean, who knows? Yeah, Donnelly, Tati was speaking her truth in that video. That's one issue I have with the whole, even just the term like my truth, when everyone was doing those fucking my truth videos. My truth is not the same thing as the truth. Okay. Like my truth is like your version of events. That doesn't make it truth. That makes it your version or your truth. So I don't really think that Tati lied or anything in that video. I actually think her video was quite well done from a business and influence standpoint. But I also don't think that she was naive enough to deliberately exclude certain things and make sure to include or hint at other. You know what I mean? This whole thing was very calculated, and to act like she's some kind of hero or martyr is nonsense. Vern, have a good night. Have a good night. Yeah, Kit. Kanye is very ill. I feel like he's been crying out for help for a long time. It's actually, I think I'm just like a empathetic person, which is surprising because I feel like I'm cold as ice. But I do think he has been not the same since his mother died, for real, for real. But even before that, someone was off about him, you know? So yeah. Mariella, can we critique the video? We can do whatever the hell we want. I thought it was a bit long too, but I was also on the edge of my seat. I have to admit. It was a bit all over the place, though. I feel like if she had notes, they weren't in a good order. And if she didn't have notes, it felt like she didn't have notes. Yep. Yeah, the transfer of subscribers is very peculiar. And then I also had my own conspiracy theories about when that video first went up on Friday. I mean, it had a couple million views by midday, by like noon or something crazy. And I kept checking the trending page on YouTube, which I never look at because whatever's on there does not pertain to me. And all day long. I don't think it ever showed up. That video had more than 5 million views, I want to say, by the end of Friday. It never showed up on the trending page, whereas there were videos from a day before, 2 days before that had less than a million views that were on the trending page. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that was James Charles's like putting in a phone call to YouTube HQ and trying to stem the bleeding before things got really bad, but things only seemed to get worse the next day when he uploaded that whack ass apology. So, good heavens. Jazzerlat 45 with Kim K and these inmates. That's a complicated situation. Funky Geneva, if you guys are familiar, Nessa Girl. He made some good points in his video addressing this, which I agree with to a point. He was talking about how a lot of people are side-eyeing what Kim Kardashian is doing with these inmates. Excuse me, I'm drinking my high ABV kombucha here. What she's doing with freeing these people who are wrongfully incarcerated. They were questioning her motives and, oh, it's just for a reality show. Oh, it's just for self-promotion, this and that. And his point was, who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck? If she's helping to free people who shouldn't be in jail, that should be enough. And I do agree with that to a point. Where I take issue is, what is she really doing? In a way, what is happening is she's taking credit away from the women who are doing the real work. Black women who have quit their jobs and put their own finances in jeopardy to work on these cases and try to get these people freed. Where Kim Kardashian comes in is she is able to bring more attention and therefore put more pressure on. And I do appreciate that. I think if you have that celebrity, it's almost like with a movie. If you're trying to get a movie made, a lot of times in Hollywood, if you're nobody, it doesn't matter how great your script is. No one's going to buy that script. No one's going to fund it. If you get executive produced by Michael B. Jordan, even if he has fuck all to do with it, except the fact that maybe he read the script and thought it was good and he has zero interest in even helping creatively, if he gets his name attached to it, best believe that movie's getting made. Trust and believe. And this to me is the same thing. So if Kim Kardashian is simply executive producing these people getting released from prison, the end result is still worth it. So I'm fine with that. Like, get these people out of jail by any means necessary if they don't deserve to be there. Isabel, exactly. People should use their platform like that. So as much as I have my issues with that family, that is what you should be doing. You know, as much as I've been talking a lot more vocally about how much, institutionalized racism, white supremacy are problems, that isn't to say that all white people are the enemy by any means. Like, I don't want that to be like the perception of what I believe. I think that there are plenty of people who actually, I'm not going to say most, but there are people out there who are actually using their privilege to try to uplift those of us who are oppressed. And that is a true ally. It's one thing to be like, oh, well, I'm not racist. So, and that's it. You know, like that. If you're not actively helping to dismantle the systems that keep the oppressed, then you're not an ally. Kim Kardashian is actually using her platform and influence to do something, and I applaud that. One fit back, Nessa girl. Exactly, Alexis. There's no wrong reason to do right. I agree, Jimmy. She's using her name and brand for good. It's about goddamn time. It is the least she could do, and I hope to see her do more, Isabel. I hope to see her do more. I hope this is just the beginning. And as cynical as it is, like if this creates a trend amongst other, as Adrian Expression would say, cloud colored individuals with money and influence to do things to uplift the people who don't have the means and influence to uplift themselves. I don't care if it's just like, oh, I just want to do this because like it's popular right now. Just do it. You know what I mean? Hopefully it will last longer than, peplum shirts or whatever. But yeah, like I really feel like if the end result is a good thing, I don't really care what your intentions were. But I'm still gonna call you on being fucking phony if it's just like for PR. Isabel, I'm with you 100%. I am still never going to call myself a fan of Kim, but when she recorded Taylor Swift, I was like, okay, my heart softened a little bit. Kardashian, isn't that how you say it? How are you supposed to say it? I'm not sure. Kardashian. I'm not sure how to say your name. Pick Kai. I agree. Good or bad motives aside, the people who are free, I'm sure they don't give a shit what her motives are. They're just happy to be free. I completely agree. Oh, Clara, you're going all the way back to the car accident. Well, see, I didn't know about him prior to, I think through The Wire, which was after his jaw was already wired shut from that accident. That's how most of us first became acquainted with Kanye in front of the scenes. I think he was already producing behind the scenes by that point, but small scale. He wasn't Kanye yet. But some people are just predisposed to chemical imbalances. It's just that his has become more pronounced and at least more obvious, I should say, as he has had more of a platform, with people watching his every move, all that kind of thing. It's yeah, it's hard to watch. It's been hard to watch. It's been like watching a car crash in slow motion over the past decade or so. Prince kicked her ass off the stage. Was that Prince kicked Kim Kardashian off the stage? I don't remember. I might have to look that up, girl. And yeah, musical 264. Yeah, I think the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, was his mother's passing away because she couldn't dance. I I am Googling that the second I get out of here. I figured I would stay on about an hour. It's 6:48 in my time, so we'll stay on like another 10 minutes or so. Oh my god, you guys just made I can't wait to see this. Oh my god. Yeah, bye sister. That was it was really funny to see just like the touches of streets because Tati is the most lily white. You know what I mean? In every possible way. So when she was talking about like receipts being stacked thick, like I said earlier, I was just like, who wrote this for you? Because you don't talk like this. And bye sister. Yeah, God. If nothing else, I hope that this scandal means I never have to hear him say sister or sisters again. Makeup Struggles is leaving YouTube, huh? I went to her channel recently and she had 0 videos up. I didn't know what was going on. Like all of her videos were gone. And I was like, what did I miss? Yeah, I'm not sure who you're responding to, Kip, but James's like catchword phrase is sisters. He's like, "Hey, sisters." It's really like it's plays on my nerves. Plays on my nerves. Yeah, exactly. Pick like the sister thing. Like again, pretty much co-opted. It's just like he took sis and then made it like sister. Like that was already our thing. Like you just kind of like redid it and made it more square. I agree, Melissa Ellen Bay. The girls are fighting. Jazzerlat 45, yes, he calls everyone sisters. Like he crowbars that word into every sentence because as someone who doesn't even watch his content, the number of times I've heard him work the word sister or sisters into a sentence just from the clips I've seen of him, I'm like, well, this must be insufferable because like I've barely even seen you and you've already said the word sister about 45 times in 50 seconds. Oh man. I'm gonna have to check out this makeup struggles video then, but after I look up Prince kicking Kim Kardashian off the stage because priorities. Gwen Kardashian. That's what I'm saying. Kardashian. I think I'm saying that correctly. One Pimp Afro, someone else, I think it might have been you, Kit, said something about Charles being a racist as well. I mean, not surprised at all if true, but like I haven't heard anything about that because I don't keep up with James Charles. It's just this whole situation with Tati has been completely unavoidable. Which honestly just speaks to my point then. Like, so Tati doesn't have a problem with racism or racists. She has a problem with someone selling another brand's vitamins. Daz like Daz of salt. That's what I'm saying, the best. Cardassian. I'm live trolling you guys right now. Like, if you honestly think that I'm not doing this on purpose, you have never watched any of my content before. Yeah, Isabel, the Ebola thing was, I believe, his first scandal. That's why he got dropped as a cover boy. Yeah, Yolki, they have made mainstream news, which is like it's on people.com, it's a bunch of places. And that was why I felt like, you know what, normally I just mind my business, but no one's watching anyway, so I may as well talk about this. Yeah, Yaya Marie, I mean, black women buying James's palette despite the Ebola comments. There's black women who buy Jeffree Star makeup. I don't what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Is your self-hate that deep that you're actually gonna support racist Star? Okay, girl. Okay. Maisha, speaking truth to power. That is exactly my point. Like, you were fine enough with him being allegedly, according to what you guys are saying, racist, and with being a sexual predator. If you were really that upset about this, you could have been did an expose video. You're mad because of the vitamins thing. That's it. She's not a hero. Yeah, Eagles lover. Beautylish, like, I definitely have not been buying from them. I'm not sure I have, yeah, I have bought from them since they started carrying Jeffree Star, but I think it was because I couldn't even get the products anywhere else, and I was just like, look, I really want this stuff. But it was an issue for me. It was an issue for me. I feel like I need to actually contact the company and voice my displeasure though, because simply not buying might not really indicate to them that like this is a problem for some people. So I think I need to actually contact them and be like, listen, I have hesitated on buying from you guys as much as I used to because you carry Jeffree Star, and that's that. And I think Jeffree Star is about to start getting carried somewhere else. I know he's already at Morphe and obviously Beautylish, but there's somewhere else. God, I can't remember. Yoki, it is not Ulta. Ulta's my place. No. Fuck. Oh, no, girl. Oh, Beauty Bay is trash. I would never shop there. I've had the worst customer service of my life with Beauty Bay. Fucking boycotted for life. Oh, thank you, Mariella, asking everyone a thumbs up. Yeah, exactly. I am really upset. I am really upset that Jeffree Star is at Ulta, you guys. I'm very conflicted now. I'm definitely going to have to contact them and be like, listen, I know I'm just one customer and I will not affect your bottom line, but I do not approve. And hopefully, if enough other people voice our displeasure, something will happen. But ultimately, the problem is going back to the title of this video, because this platform and Instagram are fucking trash, his supporters far outweigh his detractors, and it won't fucking matter. I mean, this is why he's carried at Ulta in the first place. I'm sure Ulta is fully aware of his past, and I'm sure present when cameras aren't rolling. But they weighed the cost analysis and the benefits versus the risk, and it was worth it for them. We're outnumbered, you guys. That's the problem with this fucking platform and Instagram. Tati is the definition of selective outrage. That is my compliments to the chef. That chef. I had a little bit too much of this. Sorry. To the chef. That is a perfect wording. All right, you guys. It's about 7. I've been on here an hour. I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time, especially on a school night. So I'm going to call it. But, oh, yeah. Tired as Kylie Cosmetics is at Ulta now, too, aren't they? Like, that one, just, the Kardashians will never get $1 from me if I could avoid it. I don't know if there's some, like, roundabout way where I've accidentally supported them by them, like, being involved with some company that I didn't know they were involved with. But, yeah, I will never knowingly give 1 red cent to a Kardashian. And with that, Mariella, I don't know. I'll leave this up at least until tomorrow. I'm not afraid of bad comments, as I always say. I'm not afraid of rude comments on YouTube. I just don't have the patience or time to have to block people if I get flooded with a bunch of like Tati or James Charles or Jeffree Star stands. Like, I ain't got the time or the patience, baby. But I stand by everything I said in this video, as I always stand by everything I say in every video. It just has more to do with my day-to-day quality of life when I private something, because I'm not afraid of bad comments. I'm just not a fan of having my time wasted blocking people. In any event, it's 10 p.m. in Trinidad. Oh, my dad is probably still up. He lives in Trinidad. He is Trinidadian, which makes me Trinidadian. Anyway, I'm going to mourn Ulta carrying Jeffree Star. I'm going to look up Prince kicking Kim Kardashian off stage, and then I'm going to watch this makeup struggles video. But thank you guys for hanging out with me and listening to my monologue at the top about all my thoughts on this, because it does affect me as a creator. And I look forward to doing another live stream with you guys again soon. Who knows what it'll be about? Bye.